Wonderful people, great Biafrans, wherever you are, on the face of this very planet, this very precise moment, we are saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to some of you. This is a Radio Biafra live presentation on this very day, the 8th of April, in the year of our Most High, Elohim 2020, with the time now standing at exactly 8 minutes past 7 p.m. in the evening in the land of Biafra. And I presume with a degree of exactness, it is the same number of minutes past the hour wherever you are, to confirm that this is a live presentation. We welcome you, and as I do so, I will encourage you to also welcome people who are around you, your friends and your families, those who are hibernating, those who are under forced lockdown, those who have been quarantined, either voluntarily or forcefully, those who are being compelled to endure unimaginable economic hardship, those who are struggling to make ends meet, but ultimately those who believe in the redeeming grace of the Creator of the heavens and the earth. I welcome each and every one of you, because unlike any other, Radio Biafra is the only broadcaster listened to across every time zone on this very earth, bar none. Bar none. There is no country on this earth, there is nowhere that is habitable, that this very gospel of redemption, a gospel of hope, a gospel of renewal is not reverberating at this very moment. Therefore, I will hand over our proceedings to Elohim in heaven. But before I do so, I must, as it is customary for us to do here on this hallowed platform of Radio Biafra, where whoever sits behind this very microphone is under supreme anointing from heaven. My name is Nnamdi Kanu. I am very humbly the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, the most formidable freedom fighting movement anywhere on this earth, the very largest freedom fighting outfit on this earth at this time, at this very age. It is with the very greatest humility and submission to that very grace of God in heaven that I say that I am a servant of the wonderful people of Biafra. That is the very purpose for which I was born. That is the very purpose for which my father got married to my mother. That is the very purpose that I exist. And that is the mandate that I must fulfill in this lifetime. I do not entertain any fear. I have no doubt. We do not prevaricate. We do not retreat. We do not surrender. We are destructively stubborn. That this very thing that we pursue, which is freedom, not just for Biafra, not just for the whole of West Africa, but for the entire African continent, that men and women who are born free may live freely to aspire and to accomplish whatever they set their hearts and their minds upon. that same opportunity that is open to every other race on this very earth, we must bring to bear in Biafra. We must also extend that to the rest of Africa. Therefore, as I say always, this very broadcast this evening is not just for Biafrans. It is meant for everybody who is oppressed, all the people who are suffering, people who are in the middle belt, people who are from the southwest, from Yoruba land, from Oduduwa, that some of them have not yet realized the enormity of the disaster that is unfolding. But this evening we shall attempt, as we always do, to educate, to instruct, to inform, to cajole, to plead with our people, wherever they are on this very earth, that Biafra is the only solution. We are also here to remind those who are around us, the Yorubas to the west, and those in the middle belt, that they must be part of this very effort to restore the kingdom of heaven upon the face of the earth. We do not despise anyone, we don't hate anyone, we don't abhor anyone. The only thing that we hold on to tenaciously is the truth, because we know that that truth is what shall lead us into life, and that life as we know it is Biafra, the land of the free. As we were before the white man came, as we were before Lugard came, so shall we return, that very purpose for which we were made and created may come to fulfillment. And we must pray. Before we came on air this very evening, I was told in no uncertain terms that there are people who are missing out on our prayers because of the language that is being prayed in. But I say to some of those people that the mother of all religion, which is Judaism, it gave birth to every other religion. The communication with Elohim is in Hebrew. I must also say that even Al-Majri and Janjaweed in the northern part of the damnable contraption called Nigeria, they pray in Arabic. They don't even know Arabic. They don't understand in Arabic. But that's how they pray in their mosque. Everywhere you go to in the zoo, that's how they pray. The mosques in Yoruba land that were conquered by the Fulanis, the prayers there are said in Arabic. In the north, the same. Everywhere around the world, the prayers of Islam is done in Arabic. I don't know why people should be concerned that I am praying in the language of heaven. When I do so, they say, you're trying to make it an Igbo affair. But when the Al-Majris in the north are praying in Arabic language, nobody ever complains. But when I pray in that language that mankind itself was made, some people have difficulties with it. I shall oblige them because I do listen, unlike those who are in charge of the zoo. I actually listen. And we must pray this evening. O Elohim in heaven, Chineke nanke pụrụ m ihe niile, hear our cry and our plea for justice, for we are not asking for anything that do not belong to us. You will listen to our cry for help, and you will answer us from your throne in heaven. Please, this very evening, as humanity is listening, as our enemies, even Facebook, are doing all they can to suppress your truth from coming out, as our enemies are gathering and plotting, please pay attention to our prayer, because the prayers that we offer to you do not just come from me. It represents the collective yearning, hope, and aspiration of every Biafran on this very earth. It represents that very hope in the lives of those who are passing through intolerable oppression and regimes of tyranny. You must hear our prayers, Elohim, because they are coming from honest lips. You must declare us innocent. You must declare IPOB innocent. For it's only you that see those who do right. You have tested our thoughts. You have examined our heart. Even in the darkness of the night, only you can see in darkest and hidden places. You have scrutinized me. You have scrutinized this IPOB. You have scrutinized this very movement, and you have found nothing wrong. That is why when we pray, you answer us. That is why we are determined. We are determined not to sin. From what we say, we follow your commandments, your 10 commandments. That is what stopped us from following cruel and evil people. They came to us, they tempted us. They offered their monies and their bribes. They did everything they can to steer us away from this very divine calling of yours. But our steps have stayed on your path. We have not wavered one bit. We have followed that path that you laid before us. We are praying to you because we know you are God in heaven that existed before time came. That is why we say you are the Ancient of Days, the Ancient of the Ancients. Because we know you will answer. You are a God that answers prayers. For we pray all the time and we say, bring the zoo to an end. And you have demolished and you have destroyed the zoo. As a rock has fallen, there is no one in there anymore. Because you're God in heaven, you answer the prayers of your children. Show us your unfailing love in ways that we cannot understand. By your mighty power, you have always rescued those that seek refuge from their enemies. Our enemies are the zoo. Our enemies are those neo-colonialists scattered all over the world that wish not just to hold Biafra down, but to hold Africa down, to hold the black race down. Come and guard us, O Elohim. Come and protect and shield your children from the machinations of the enemy. Hide us under your wings and protect us from the plots of the wicked. Because they are murderers, they are evil, and they have surrounded your children. They are flying in from China. They are coming from all over the place. Not only are we contending with coronavirus, there is also hunger. There is also hunger. People are desperate. These people are without pity. Those in Abuja are without pity. They are evil. They have surrounded your children and watching us from everywhere, seeking to bring to an end that which you ordained, even from before time began. By the power of your hand, O Elohim, destroy them, destroy those of them that say that Biafra will not come. You will destroy them as you have destroyed the zoo. But you will feed your children in this time of hunger. All those that you treasure. We have sinned against thee in more ways than one through our actions, our speech, and our thought. We ask you, Elohim, to be merciful upon your children. Do not judge us by these sins of this very mortal flesh, O Elohim, but by the love that you conferred upon us, by virtue of the very special position we occupy in your heart. That is why we say we are Biafrans, because we are your chosen children. You decree that we must come to Africa, that your light must come into Africa, that development will come into Africa, that reason will come into Africa. That is what we do. That is what we pray for. That is our mission, and that shall be accomplished in our time, to the glory and exaltation of your name. Heavenly Father, accept every adoration and every praise, every honor and every glory. Now and forevermore we pray. He said, this very gospel must reverberate around this very planet. So what we are doing, they cannot comprehend the enormity of the task before us. But we have done that which is right before God in heaven and man on this very earth. That is why this very gospel must be preached. If you have come to listen to this very gospel without your pen and your paper, then you are grossly mistaken. If you are one of those who come to listen to this very gospel without all your faculties functioning, or should I say, firing on all cylinders, then you will miss quite a lot. But if you have come prepared with your pen and your paper and your capacity and will to reason, then you will appreciate that there is no more zoo called Nigeria from tonight. You must listen very carefully. Things are happening all around the world that gives us all great concern. When I say our people are dying in large numbers, I know that quite naturally our thoughts and our minds will gravitate towards those who are in Biafra land. But I'm not talking about Biafra land yet. People are dying, and they are dying not in Biafra land, but in the United States of America. We start from there this evening, and for a very good reason. Remember that this is where I am providing an update on coronavirus and what we must all do collectively and individually to make sure that we stay safe and reduce the risk of transmission from one person to the other. It is very, very critical that we pay attention. African Americans are dying. They are our brothers. There is no doubt about that. What is most troubling about the statistics that we are seeing coming out of USA in relation to COVID-19 is the direct implication it will have for the continent of Africa, inhabited by us, the black people, as we have chosen to be called, and how that impacts on Biafra. It is very troubling that although black Americans constitute less than 30% of the population, in the areas hardly hit by this coronavirus, which is essentially New York and California and in Louisiana, the mortality rate, the people that you're hearing that are dying in America are mostly black people. I don't know if you know this. Listen very carefully, please. Out of the total number of deaths in America, black people make up 70% of those who are dying in America because of coronavirus. 70%, 70. Admittedly, there are about 400,000 visitors that came into the USA from the Wuhan area or from that very province of China since December of last year. But many of them could not have been black people. Why is it that blacks are dying more in America than any other race? That is something you need to ponder, and ponder very seriously this evening as we proceed. How come this disease is killing us so much and in such a large number in the USA? What is happening? We can all agree that this is not normal. But before we go into the substance of tonight's broadcast, I want to lay some very quick foundation. very quick foundation upon which all our analyses, all our presentations, our postulations, our calculation is going to be anchored. Because what we do on Radio Biafra, what we have done with Biafrans over the years, is to get them to understand, to be able to reason. That is why an average Biafran right now, degree or no degree, university education or no university education, is arguably one of the most intelligent and brightest people you can ever encounter. Because we understand one thing that the Europeans, or should I say the white man, always hid from Africans and black people in general. The preeminence of reason. Reason is number one. After reason, then you have truth. Both of them work hand in hand because truth is always constant. So once you are able to reason, to align on this very path to progress, which is the truth, becomes very, very easy. That is what is lacking in Africa because they did not take time to tutor to school to educate people. That's what we've been doing on Radio Biafra. And that is why Biafra cannot be like any other useless African country, I must tell you the truth. It cannot be. Long after we are gone, Biafra will continue to be a beacon. Because how you lay your foundation is how the structure upstairs is going to, above ground, I should say, is going to look like, isn't it? We are going to give you the view of Nigeria from inside Aso Rock because that's crumbled. And also to let you know that everything I say is true. I can never get tired of saying this. Everything you hear from me is gospel. It is correct. After a while, somehow, I don't know, miraculously, even the same people that we are seeking to save, the Efulefus, they come out to corroborate it, one way or the other. What I'm about to play for you is the very first clip this evening. It is the views, or should I say the opinions of one Efulefu. Maybe an accurate summary of what is happening in the zoo and why Nigeria is irredeemable. I want Yorubas to understand this. I want the Middle Belters to understand this. I want those who cling on to the hope of one Nigeria because of oil and gas to understand this. Some of you may have known this very man. He was the former governor of Rivers State. He was the Efulefu that went and purchased the presidency for the Fulanese, for Buhari before Buhari left this earth, and now serving Abba Kyari through Jubril exceptionally well. All of you must understand this. You must understand it. You need to understand it. Because when I say that everything I tell you is correct, it is correct. You are going to hear Chibike Amechi's assessment of what Nigeria is. I couldn't have put it any better, or maybe should I say any worse. I want to know Nigeria, to those that call themselves Nigerians, I want them to know tonight that I don't hate you. This is your minister. He's going to tell you what Nigeria is like. All we are trying to do, what I'm trying to do, is to save as many people as possible. That is what God is trying to do through the gospel that we preach, through our agitation, through our quest for Biafra. It is to save everybody, including the Alamajiri on the street. Everybody will benefit. Understand it. It is not about oil and gas. I keep saying this all the time. It is about freedom and human dignity. The right to choose where you belong or wish to belong. Of course, there is nothing called Nigeria. I want you to listen to Chibike Amechi. A very frank assessment of Nigeria. Then we begin to put in lay the bricks around this very foundation led by Amechi to tell you why today Nigeria has crumbled. It doesn't exist. I am telling you tonight, Nigeria does not exist. That was why they burnt the building. They have eaten all the money, they've burnt it. There is no president. Buhari is dead in a grave in Saudi Arabia. Jubril is on the run. Abba Kyari is on a life support machine. Osibanjo, they infected him with coronavirus by force. Understand? Listen to me when I preach. By force, he was infected with coronavirus. I told you on Sunday, I told you live to the hearing of the whole world that not just that Buratai is sick. I told you. Have you seen him since then? Have you heard from him? Now it is defense headquarters are now issuing statements meant to be issued by the army. Anything I tell you, sometimes they wonder, how do we know? And I say to them, we are under the mandate of heaven, divine revelation. All these things happening, I see them very clearly. I told you, I gave them a challenge that Buratai is not well. Did they manage to produce him? The answer is no. That you may know that Chukwu Kikabiyama is with us. I told you that the zoo will crumble. I told him I will destroy the zoo. As I'm talking to you now, that's a very funny saying. Where we come from? Am I afraid to go to a widow's house? Don't I know where the husband went to? Do you understand it? When you're going to a widow's house, maybe you're befriending the woman, and you know the husband is there. Are you going to be afraid that the husband will come and you jump through the window? Of course not, because you know where the husband has gone to. This night, I'm telling you categorically, Nigeria has no government. There is none. Nobody. What you're seeing is movement of funds, stolen money. That is what they're doing in the north right now. Moving and stealing money. When they steal, they burn. They steal money, they burn. But let me give you the foundation as I promised you, so that you will understand what is happening around the world. Some of you don't know. Tonight you will know. I say it with every certainty. Nigeria is dead. It can never recover. I told them they can never ever recover. Because I told Sahara reporters, I told them when I went to USA, I said to them, if you don't give us Biafra, Nigeria will be worse than Somalia. They write it on a piece of paper. You are about now to see it happen. I asked people, they say, I saw Biafra coming, but there was so much blood. It has come. The invisible enemy. Can you see coronavirus? You cannot see it. Can you see hunger before it kills you? You only feel it. You can't see hunger. You cannot see something and point and say, oh, this is hunger. No. The same way you cannot with coronavirus. They have come. Two of them at the same time. And coming at a time when there is nobody in Asorok. I say nobody. We have pursued Jubril. There is a fake idiot they put in Asorok with a mask waiting. The reason being that their mask suppliers and their makeup artists can no longer come in because of the flight ban. So the idiot cannot address anybody. All they do is they wave hand, snap picture. But I'm very glad that this IPOB, this very family created by God himself, have fought the zoo to a standstill. They can no longer issue Photoshop pictures. Are they photoshopping anymore? The answer is no. Are they issuing fake videos? The answer is no. Have you asked yourself why? Because of this IPOB, we have destroyed the zoo. Complete and total. Let me tell you what the world knows that you don't know. Nigerians. Those that say Nnamdi Kanu, he's always insulting us. He doesn't know what he's saying. I want to tell you what your own minister is saying about you. That after tonight, I expect Oduduwa, I expect Yoruba people to start forming IPOB in their own villages to campaign for Oduduwa Republic. Because by tomorrow morning, after sleeping tonight, you wake up and you will say that indeed Nnamdi Kanu was called by God in heaven to preach this very gospel. This is Chibi Kamiechi.
These are not things you publish. If you publish it, they will never see it.
Don't publish it, he's saying.
Everybody's crying. Pressmen are crying. Farmers are crying. Workers are crying. Politicians are crying. Students are crying. 3 years old. But the rate of poverty is very high. People are hungry. Nigeria will never change. So you should learn to gossip with your
Nigeria will never change.
They should learn to gossip with us because you chose to do that with us. And we appreciate it. I've listened to the governor of Katsina. I don't know why I'm not replying. To give us land in Daura for the university. That's one. So the university in Daura, the next university will be my village. Investor of transportation.
Minister of Transportation.
Why are you laughing now? All of you are graduates of the common saying that when we are small, charity begins with. Why would my own begin abroad?
Journalists are laughing. Nigeria, have you seen Nigerian journalists? Laughing at impunity. Oh, you know what? Charity begins at home. They're all laughing. These are the journalists that say IPOB, we write fake news, we are proper. These are the people. These are the people that I'm telling you. I told you that your problem is stray in the zoo. Though your stupidity and inability to reason. I said that. That is number one. Number two is your judiciary. Number three is the quality of media you have. Look at them laughing. And they go, hey, they're eating money. They are laughing. Listen.
The president is not listening to anybody.
He doesn't listen.
He doesn't care. He can write anything he wants to write. The president doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
He will read, he will laugh. He say, come and see, they're abusing me here. In fact, there was one case of somebody not this year. A trader who couldn't sell his goods during salad. And I was with the guy in the plane. And the man was busy abusing Buhari because of Buhari for the finance. He said, come, I mean, what's my business with all this goat seller? This country will change as well.
The Minister for Transportation. This is from his mouth. This was the man that financed the dead Buhari's campaign in 2015 using the money of Biafrans in Iguacha that they call River State. He is part, and he went to campaign in Lagos. You know, those that say he's from Niger Delta, they were hailing him the lion of the Niger Delta. But his name is Chibike Amechi. Are you listening? Minister for Transportation in Nigeria is telling you that Nigeria can never be saved. It is dead. Let us listen more.
Everybody is killed. This country is going nowhere.
This country is going nowhere. Are you listening very carefully? Are you listening? Nigerians, are you listening to the man you are hailing in Lagos? The man that built a Ibadan-Lagos rail line. So you cannot fault his pedigree. When it comes to serving the zoo, you can't fault it. He's a complete traitor and a betrayer. You know that very well. This is him talking. That your country cannot be salvaged. Are you listening? From Nigeria's Ministry of Transport comes this very statement from the Transportation Minister telling journalists with him that Nigeria cannot be salvaged, that Nigeria is gone. Are you listening to me?
You know, even if you divide the country into 10, it will still not change. No, I'm not joking. When Magnus was my SSG, I told him this country is hopeless and helpless.
I told him, my SSG, that this country is hopeless and helpless. That is what he said. Hopeless and helpless. Hopeless and helpless. Are you listening? Hopeless and helpless. That is why I call him a zoo. This is a man that is stealing money. This is a man that is shoveling money every blessed day to Dubai. They have mansions, they have houses, and I keep saying to the so-called Nigerians, why have you not risen up as one to overthrow these criminals and do to them what every other race have done on this earth? When people punish you and suffer you and deny you your freedom, they starve you to death, all of you will rise up. How many are they? In Asorok today, how many are they? If the people in Abuja decide to rise up right now to go to Asorok, how many bullets can they shoot? But you prefer to wallow in a diseased state of reasoning. You cannot think. I told you that Nigeria is useless. You were doubting me. Have you heard it now from the Nigeria's own Minister for Transportation? Have you heard it? Maybe now you will believe. You will believe. Let me finish playing the clip so you'll understand it. Next time when you see an IPOB member, you will kneel before that. You will beg for forgiveness. That is why we are called Umuchineke. Do you know the reason of that? The children of God. Do you know why? Because of this. We see things before others can. You can. What we see, you can never. Not in a trillion years, you cannot see it. Not in a trillion years. Look at the Shia. Have they not gone to sleep? Have they not gone to sleep? Did they manage to bring out El Zagzagi? The answer is no. But this IPOB brought out Nnamdi Kanu from prison. This IPOB you're looking at. No other person did. No, it's IPOB, of course, our God in heaven. Using IPOB. Now you understand it, don't you? You now know how potent we are, don't you? You now understand it. We see things you cannot see. As a zoo animal, you are blind as a bat. But here we teach you things you don't know. That's what you're calling me miscreants. So Amechi is also a miscreant now. You heard what he said about the Nigeria. So Amechi is a miscreant. Unbelievable. We have shattered the zoo. Tonight is the requiem. You will hear it. When I told you that Buhari was, somebody said, oh, Buhari is dead. Because of that, you wish Buhari dead. Your father is dead, your mother is, and I laugh at them. And I say to them that Biafra is at hand. They have done their job, which is to give birth to me to see the vision of Biafra. Do you understand it? Now you do. What we are doing are things of the spirit. What we are doing things that man cannot comprehend. We don't have the money in IPOB, but how did we manage to destroy the zoo? Ask yourself that question. How? The zoo is like a tortoise that is on just a shell. There is nothing inside it. Asorok is empty, as hollow as the hole on Jubril's neck in Cuba. Dark and deep. There is nobody there. They say, oh, Minister of Health is speaking today. Oh, tomorrow is the Minister of Agriculture. The other one is Humanitarian Affairs. All of them Haji or Al-Haji. That made one of them to address a press conference in Hausa language. They've even forgotten where they are. That is how useless these people are. They are so stupid. Because there's nobody again to check. Made them know about Yari to run things. I told you. You know, our God is miraculous. He's a marvelous God, I tell you. That can do the undoable, he does it. Historians will sit down and they'll be writing, how did Nnamdi Kanu manage to do this? With nothing. Everybody rejected, everybody. Igbo politicians went to Abuja and did a meeting and said nobody should give Nnamdi Kanu money. If you're going to give him money, don't give him more than $20,000. Go and ask them. Ask them. They will tell you. They did a meeting. And every time they come out, they keep wondering, but how is he managing? They said, no, he's now levying and collecting money from people all over the world. Because these are Biafrans, they understand the task at hand. And how many are they that fund IPOB? But I can tell you today categorically, I am telling you today, as I said before, it was an adage. When you're going to a woman that the husband is no more, you're not afraid that somebody will come in and you run into the wardrobe because you know where the man has gone to, don't you? He's there in heaven with Chuko Kabem on hell with Lucifer. He's no longer coming back. I am doing this broadcast tonight in the full knowledge that Asorok is empty. No amount of mask they will buy. Who's going to wear the mask for Shibajo? How short is the person going to be? How can you look at Oshibajo? Who's going to wear the mask for Shibajo? Who's going to wear it and pretend? Oshibajo is learned, well educated. Where are you going to get somebody to mimic his voice? The zoo is dead. I told him, you underestimate IPOB at your peril. Ask governments of the world. You underestimate this movement at your peril. Let me finish with Amechi, your own transportation minister, telling you that all of you are hopeless. Amechi, he is the one that financed Buhari's campaign. Amechi is telling you that all of you are hopeless. That's what he's saying. Let me play it for you.
So that's topic coming from the government. Nobody's saying that. Well, 2 months in Abuja, so that this country is hopeless and helpless. I said, why? You say you're right. The only thing they do in Abuja is share money. They don't work.
All they do is share money. They do not work. Can you hear that? Are you hearing that at all? All they do in Abuja is share money. Did you hear that? From Amechi? I'm going to ask Ike in South Africa and Amaka to post this very clip so the world can hear it. Chibika Amechi. All they do in Abuja is they sit down, do nothing, and share money. And why do they have this mindset? Because it's an Al-Majri regime. I told you before that the Fulani elite are very lazy. They don't go to school. They go to ABU, Zaria, and they buy degrees. They promote themselves. And that's it. You can hear it now. All they do is they sit around in Abuja and they share money. They do nothing. They don't know how to run a country. They don't know how to lead. They don't know how governance. They have no clue. Is that corruption? The same garbage Otman Danfodio was mouthing when he came to take Hawassa. He came to Hawassa land to take their land from them. And he was telling them, oh, we are come to fight corruption all the way from Senegal. You did not fight corruption all the way from Senegal. It's only in Hawassa land in Gobert, which the name Sokoto, that you're fighting corruption. Look at what happened to the Hausas. Yorubas betrayed themselves in the Ilorin. Fulani took Ilorin from them before their eyes. And they don't have shame. Some of them come online and be writing, hey, this is your Biafra. This is your online country. Meanwhile, Fulani took Ilorin from them. You killed their Oba and put Emir there. And I say to them very confidently, there is no part of Biafra land that has an Emir. They cannot take, if you come there, you will die there. I told them, people say, oh, but why are you saying, why have you taken Kogi and you took Benue? I say, because you don't know history. Oh, tell me the boundary of this, your Biafra. Where is it? I say, because you know nothing. I can't tell you, because you are not educated enough to appreciate the magnitude of what God has done in the lives of his people. Is it because we are suffering now? We go to China, they pursue us. We go here, they kill us. South Africa, in Malaysia, all over the place. God has a design. The same thing happened to the Jews. God is saying, you must go back to Biafra. Why do you think they bombed us in Lagos? They kill us in bomb and kill us in the north. God is telling us, go back. I gave you everything. I gave you everything. Ebonyi State is like a mini Congo. Every raw material you need in the world is in Ebonyi State. God is saying, I gave you everything. I blessed you more than any other race. What are you doing in Kafanchan? Selling food. Mama put in Kafanchan. A child of God in heaven. Can't you see Israelites and the Jews? They control everything in the world. They exhibit God's blessing in their life. It is us in our stupidity and one choncho envy. Hey, why should it be Nnamdi Kanu? Hey, I wish it was my son or my daughter. It cannot be your son or your daughter. It can never be, not in this life, not in the next. Because they said, Eze I.O. Kanu and Ugeze Salememe Kanu will give birth to that person, not you. That's what God in heaven said, not man. So your envy and your jealousy means nothing to us. Look at where we are today. As I'm preaching tonight, they are panicking in Abuja. Their heart is beating. They are finished. They know it. They are gone. The zoo is collapsed. Ask any diplomat you know anywhere in the world and ask them tonight, where is Nigeria? They tell you, please, we have more important issues to talk about. That place has nobody in it. Are you listening to me? Chibika Mechi, your own transportation minister. I say transport minister, heaven knows what they call him. He's told you now. You people do nothing in Abuja. All you do is you sit around and you share money. And that idiot sitting around and sharing money will come and say, oh, this is our country. This thing they are doing. They are not patriotic. We need patriots in our country. Oh, a complete armed robber, a rogue. Telling me about patriotism. Then Aboki. All of them telling you, where are you elite? And I say, those things you have in Abuja, apart from Abaribe, they're not elite. And to an extent, P2B. Which elite? Which elite? They sit down and they share money, they call themselves elite. And you accept it. Oh, here are your elites. Why are they not joining you? We have elites. And I'm asking you, these idiots in Abuja sharing money, you call them elite. If you see a proper elite, like those that appear on TV fighting coronavirus, can't you tell? Don't you know what an elite? Something has come now to show elitism. Coronavirus. But of course, I do concede that Lagos State governor is showing some leadership of some sort. I do comment. If I see something good, I say it. Chibika Mechi, Now I am asking those that call themselves Nigerians, who did this to you people? Who bewitched you? Why can't you rise up? All that anger you have towards IPOB, the way Nnamdi Kanu insult you, direct that anger to Asarok. That is where your problem lies, not on Radio Biafra, not in IPOB, not in Biafra. Your problem is in Asarok, and God has done it for you. Because of IPOB, there is nobody there anymore. What you see is Lai Mohammed. You see Kareba Sheikh. Oh, we are doing our best. They now write letter. Boris Johnson is sick. Every government of the world signed their own letter. They sent a tweet. They called Downing Street via video link. Do you know who signed the statement from somebody they claim is inside Asarok? It's Garba Sheikh. Garba Sheikh is now the acting president. Look at that Okoko. He is the acting president now. Because it is there. Can't you see? Are you people blind? Can't you see? It is there out in the open. He wrote a letter to Boris Johnson. The letter, he signed it, Karabashir. From a president who claims he's inside Asarok. Oh, my goodness. Oh. Hey, this OG, Allah Konucheni. I'm telling you, you know how to mess up common sense and reasoning. But here we keep shaping it. By force, you will reason. By force, here you must reason. You must reason. Because heaven, nobody in Asarok, they have all run away. Oh, Meti started by asking them, please don't publish this. Don't publish it. Oh. If you publish it next time, I won't call you. You know, charity begins outside. Let me build one university in Daura. Then I build one in my village. A politician, an elite. This is the person you call elite. Elitism. And if this is your understanding of elitism, then you are brain dead. You're even more stupid than I had thought, honestly speaking. Let me go to what our brother wrote. A very clear one, MAZI Okole, he wrote, I must say, because when I don't plagiarize, when I lift something from somebody, I say, this is person that I'm paraphrasing or I'm quoting. His name is MAZI Okole. He wrote on Facebook today, which I agree in total. It sums up everything that I want to say about this, should I say, the uselessness and the hopelessness of Nigeria and Nigerians inside it. Their journalists are listening, but to go out tomorrow and write the real thing and ask questions. What is stopping Guardian, Punch, Sun newspaper, Vanguard together one day? All of you can choose one single day to coordinate your headlines. Who is in charge in Asarok who want to interview the person? I am telling you, it will not be up to 10 hours and the zoo, you will still go up in flames. Do you know why Britain is not saying anything about, about the emptiness of Asarok? Because they said they have coronavirus. They spoke to me yesterday. They said they have coronavirus. That they don't want anything there to stir humanitarian, cause again to start going to Nigeria. That they will manage it when this whole thing is over. That's what they said. Ask them if you have a British friend who is a diplomat. Ask them. When was the last time you spoke? Because they have what is called voice recognition software. I just want to give everybody an assignment. I don't want to give it away because the day I would have wanted to collapse the zoo when things are normal, not under coronavirus, because people come outside, they may become infected. What we are doing is an object lesson on how to destroy a very corrupt, totalitarian regime of kleptomaniacs. People that steal, they cannot stop stealing. They can't help themselves. They love stealing. That is why I said, he must have taken money, because that is all you live for. So because he's taking Nnamdi Kanu, take money from which idiot? To stop Biafra? Are you drunk? Are you out of your mind? Are you insane? You can see it. Let me summarize by reading what our brother said before we go into the other part of our this. I hope people have enough data, because this thing is too hot to handle. The zoo cannot handle it. I want to see the face of Femi Adesina or that ex-harlot that transport women to Europe to go and do a shower work. What's her name? Loretta Onochie. That used to be her job. I want to see. As I told Wazirike one time, I said to Wazirike, I'm not going to touch you because this modern freedom fighting that we're into, you started it. That I will swallow you alive. You will be alive and I'll be eating you. You can't do anything about it. There's something I said to Nigeria. Nigeria, you'll be alive. You'll be alive. You'll be seeing what IPOB is doing. You cannot stop it. You will be seeing yourselves being emasculated. The life being squeezed out of you. And you know, it's Nnamdi Kanu and his people doing it. They can't do anything about it. You can't stop it. Did you stop this one now? Bring out Jubril and let's see. If the man is Buhari, bring him out. Let us see. He cannot come out. He can't. Which software are you going to use that we don't have? Which software are you going to use? I'm asking Femi Adesina, which software are you going to use that you think a whole mighty IPOB doesn't have? Do you know what is IPOB at all? Do you know how big we are? You have no idea. You have no. When you go to Capitol Hill, you ask them in Washington. When you go to EU, you ask them. When you go to Geneva, UN office, you ask them. When you go to UN in New York, you ask them. Ask them, who are these people? They will tell you that they have never seen anything like this before. You are about to be eaten alive. You will be eaten alive. I saw an eagle on a snake. Do you know this eagle disemboweled the snake? While the snake was still alive, he was eating it. The snake was alive. That is what I want to do to Nigeria. Nigeria will be alive, and I will eat Nigeria raw, alive. There are how many of them? They said there are, if you take away Biafrans, so there are 130 million. They always make reference to, oh, we fought a war. Remember the war we fought? I said to them, shut up and go sit down. Watch how we will destroy you without firing one single bullet. Is it not happening? Let them show you their president. They cannot. They can never. Because the makeup artist has, everybody is running from the zoo. You don't want to ask yourself, why is it that every nation is evacuating from Nigeria? You don't want to ask because the diplomats, they call us a rock. There is something called the diplomatic community, led by somebody called the doyen of the diplomatic corps in every country, capital of the world. You have the doyen of the diplomatic. They rang us a rock. They asked us a rock, where is you, Mr. President? Let us know what we are doing to coordinate. That time, Abakar had already run to Cuba with Jubril. So this other one there said, I can't do anything. And tonight I will tell you the boy that they put there. He messed up so much in an interview that they said, don't bring him out again. That is why he cannot come outside. He cannot speak. You will see, I will distribute his clip tonight for you to see. A clever Biafran wrote on Facebook that the fire outbreak at the office of the Accountant General, of course they have stolen the money, as Sibi Kamichi said. He called Nigeria a lootocracy, not democracy, lootocracy, where they loot. Confirmed by Amechi, of course. That was how they replaced democracy in the crazy zoo called Nigeria. With the presidency so far quarantined by the avalanche of expositions undertaken by IPOB. IPOB has sunk us rock. You see, we didn't want to start going through the market or fighting through the bushes in a guerrilla war. No, we went for the jugular. We went for the seat of Satan. We met Satan face to face in Asorok and said to Satan, you will die in the name of God. And Satan is dead in Asorok. In their next life, I'm telling you, when they hear Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB, they won't go to sleep again. We instead of making noise, you want to divide our country, we are Nigerians. We went for the jugular. You see that hole on the neck of Jubril in Cuba? That hole, we made it. We went for that hole. And Deputy and color. And they are finished. Nigeria has no president. There is no vice president. There is no chief of army staff. There is no chief of staff to the president. None. He's Femi Adesina and Garuba Shehu and a few idiots running around sharing money, coronavirus money. We want to bring in the Chinese to deflect attention. Plutocracy, that's what they run. There must be a revolution. All of you who are hungry, the time for revolution is now. That thing that Showore was calling for, the time is ripe. The time is ripe. All of a sudden, you know who those who are not issuing statements is the defense headquarters, no longer Buratai. So there is nobody in command. All they're doing now is to do what Abdul Salami did. Steal as much as you can. Bring out the money. Steal. Loot. As they're doing, they're shouting loot. They want to loot all the money. That's what they're doing. And then after that, they say, oh, let's have restructuring now. Can we restructure? Restructure. You are who's doing restructuring. You are high POB. These people, this diehard, this hardcore that I lead will come and negotiate. Remember that pastor in Gila, they call him. He was telling Nigeria negotiate now. They said, no, we are our armed forces. Operation Python Dance 1, Python Dance 2, Python Dance 3, Python Dance 4. We have cleared them now, Python Dance 5 and 8. At the log dance. The man said, negotiate now. They said, no. Because a time will come when there will be no room for dialogue. And as they were prevaricating, we went for their neck. Asorok, suffocate them inside Asorok. You see how the zoo has crumbled from Asorok itself. They are finished. I told them, the zoo is gone. It is gone. My only concern is that people are suffering. People are suffering. That is my only concern, is that people are suffering. Because things are happening that gives me very, very serious concern. Very serious concern. Things are happening that is bothering me, quite honestly. And unless we do something about it, then we are in a whole load of mess. So that is why we must. And this is my fear. This fear was expressed by, of course, I know some of them do what is called scaremongering in CNN, but it is right. They mentioned densely populated countries. Iran is not dying. They mentioned India. They mentioned Nigeria, and they mentioned Brazil. He went on to also say that maybe the heat, which of course we know that coronavirus cannot stand or cannot survive on surface above 28 degrees centigrade. We know that very well. He said he may be saving them, but not for long. I want you to listen to this very man. Listen to him. Listen to him. You will understand what is happening. That we are a target. That is why it is paining me that so-called Nigerians allowed those idiots, the Janjaweed, to deceive them. Now they're going to pay the price. And the world is warning you. Everybody is warning you. Let me also play this one for you and see if you will be able to understand it. If you can. At all. If you can understand it. Let us see. If you can. I am trying to get this very thing to work. Yes, listen.
Reverberating throughout the world. And we will not be able to get back to anything resembling normal life unless the major powers in the world can find some way to cooperate and manage these problems together.
This is CNN.
The first phase has been the healthcare crisis in the world's major economies. The next phase is the economic paralysis, the magnitude of which we are only just beginning to comprehend.
Economic paralysis.
In the last 2 weeks, America lost 10 million jobs, exceeding the 8.8 million total jobs lost over 106 weeks during the 2008 to 2010 recession. But this is just the beginning. Next up will surely be the danger of countries defaulting. Italy entered the crisis with the highest level of public debt.
The world is collapsing. Listen.
The third highest in the world. The country's debt will skyrocket now as it spends money to combat the economic fallout from COVID-19. Next come the explosions in the developing world.
Are you listening?
So far, the numbers of infected have been low in countries like India, Brazil, Nigeria, and Indonesia. Probably because they're less linked by trade and travel than the advanced world. In addition, these countries have tested very few people, which is keeping their numbers artificially low. But unless we get lucky and it turns out that heat does temper the virus, these countries will all get hit, and hard. And then there are the oil states. Even if the quarrel between Saudi Arabia and Russia gets resolved, at this point, demand for oil has collapsed and will not soon recover.
No oil anymore. Collapsed.
Countries like Libya, Nigeria, Iran, Iraq, and Venezuela.
Again, Nigeria again.
Make up the vast majority of government.
And the bad group again, Nigeria is there.
Expect political turmoil, refugees, revolutions, crackdowns, maybe terrorism. All of this might happen on a scale we haven't seen for.
Terrorism, hunger, revolution. The world understands. It's only Nigerians who do not know. And who are the people you are? It's when you're going to war, you entrust your life into good leaders, isn't it? Into maybe a good general. In the zoo, who is going to take care of you? Let us see one of them who might take care of you. Jubril. This is the man that people call Buhari Jubril. Let us see who is going to take you through coronavirus, the falling oil prices, and also hunger. Let us hear him and see what he has to say. Let us see who is going to take you through all this. Zoo.
Incorruptible. Some simply say
Listen.
You are phenomenal in Nigeria's political landscape. How will you describe yourself personally?
They're asking Buhari.
Well, I like to start by praising teachers of my generation. I spent 9 years in boarding school.
Oh, dear me. Are you people listening? Are you listening to what is happening?
Secondary school. Now I think they do 5 years.
Hey, they asked, because he is not Buhari, he cannot say anything. They asked him, tell us who is Muhammad. You know, when you go for job interview in those days, when we graduated, going for job interview, the interviewer asks you, tell us about, everybody goes through this. Tell us about yourself. Oh, who is Nnamdi Kanu? Tell us about yourself. And then I start telling them, I want to thank Mrs. Agba, who is my teacher. She's from Ebonyi, the best teacher in the whole world. She taught me at Cameroon Road and Primary School in Aba. Very brilliant woman. The only teacher that I actually remember in my whole life, which is very bizarre, because she was very good. Or maybe because I came second in her class. I was amongst the first 3, so they brought us out and gave us prizes. Maybe that's why I remember her, because she was a very good teacher. A very good teacher. They ask you, who are you? And I'll say, oh, please, thank Mrs. Akpa for me. She's retired now. She's in Abakaliki, but thank her. I went to Library Avenue Primary School in Omwahi, of course the best. I went to Government College Omwahi. I went to University of Nigeria and Soka, and then I finished at London Metropolitan University. And now I was a prefect. Can you imagine such? Are you people listening? Nigerians, are you listening? You are telling me this is Buhari? Are you not foolish? He cannot answer because he is not Buhari. He can never be. They were confusing all of you. But Chukwukika in his infinite mercy was waiting for the right time. And Corona came. And now the Tower of Babel has fallen. Asorok is empty. They are finished and they are gone. Never, ever to recover. They are gone and finished. Listen to Jubril answering a question. In fact, let me even start from the beginning because it's so sweet. I love it. I listen to a whole presido, our presido. This is the animal people are calling presido. This is the buffoon, compound illiterate that are calling presido. Look at the idiot. Look at the idiot from Sudan. Look at how young he is. Look at how young he is. Oh, even if it is from Sudan, living for us. This is the disgrace you people are bringing upon yourselves. Let me please, the world is listening, of course. We are Radio Biafra. We want to embarrass the zoo into collapse so that the world can hear how foolish they all are. Listen very carefully, please.
Incorruptible. Some simply say you are phenomenal in Nigeria's political landscape. How will you describe yourself personally? Who is Muhammadu Buhari?
Listen.
Well, I like to start by praising teachers of my generation. I spent 9 years in boarding school. 3 years in primary boarding.
He went to primary school boarding school. Who did this thing to us in this? He spent 9 years in boarding school. He spent 3 years in the primary school. Oh God. Chai. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. He spent 3 years in boarding school in primary. The world is listening. We must be professional. I'm trying. But how can you be a professional when you're surrounded by animals in a zoo? How can you keep a straight face? Hey, zoo alumni, unbelievable. These people are clowns, honestly speaking. This is Mr. President. This is their president. Unbelievable. And this is the idiot. When they ask him, what is coronavirus? He will tell you that 4 years ago, I had headache and I took paracetamol. Can you believe such nonsense? Can you believe it? And people are saying that we are going to be locked down for weeks. Can you believe that? We are going to be locked down for weeks. Now, is this the type of person you expect to lead you? Who is calling for lockdown for another 10 more weeks? It is Bill Gates. And I'm asking somebody who is a philanthropist, what is your business with vaccine? I keep asking him. Bill Gates, why are you now the government? You're not telling us how many weeks you're going to be locked down? Do you see why sometimes when people propound theories that they say are conspiratorial, I tend to doubt those who are accusing them of conspiracy theory for the simple reason that is Bill Gates the world president? Did anybody appoint him the world president or the world leader? I just want to know, please. So how come he's telling us how many more weeks we're going to stay indoors and we must take vaccine? You hear what he's saying? He wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post, Mr. Bill Gates, that the country must unite around one approach to be successful. What is that approach? You quarantine people, self-isolate. Before you go back to your office, you must take vaccine. That's what he's saying, Bill Gates. That's what he's saying. That's the only way we can allow people to go back to work. And we're saying no, there is more to this corona than meets the eye. Why is he the US president? Is he the United Nations Secretary General? What is his business? I keep asking. Directing the world on what to do. And he has his stockpile of vaccine. And they're pretending, oh, we are still looking for vaccine. But they have it already. They can deceive themselves. Not also. They can deceive themselves. And who are the people? Who are the people that will fight for you? It's somebody that tells you that, who is Muhammadu Buhari? I want to start by, so Muhammadu Buhari is, I want to start by thanking my teachers. Teachers of my generation. May Lord have mercy upon them. This is the man that spoke. And this was the man who actually invented, this man that I'm going to play for you in a minute. He was the man, he's an Indian scientist. He invented email. That is why, before I come on air, I do very extensive research. Anything I bring you is verified and authentic. This was the man, the email you use every blessed day. This is the man who actually invented email. And you're now going to hear him about this very issue of coronavirus and what they are trying to do basically in order to make sure that the likes of Bill Gates do not succeed. Very, very important, please. Very, very important. Very, very important. Listen.
Doctor exposing everything the deep state is trying.
Deep states. These are people who run countries from behind.
Welcome to the Next News Network, my friends. I'm Gary Franchi. We are in day 9 of the Trump administration's 15-day Slow the Spread campaign. But the man who at the age of 14 in 1978 invented email, yes, the inventor and copyright holder of email.
He is not just the inventor, as most people will come out. I invented this. No, he has the copyright till tomorrow morning. At the age of 14, he invented email. Let this man tell you what Bill Gates, what they're planning for you and I. They say it's conspiracy, which useless conspiracy. I saw the movie again last night, Contagion. Have you seen it? The same symptoms of coronavirus, contagion. Oh my, this world is very bizarre. Listen very carefully, please. I'm not saying there is corona and it's killing people. Yes. But who brought it and for what purpose is what the world is trying to unravel. And people are abandoning China, and all of a sudden, that is what the people that Zoo are embracing. We'll get to that. Listen, please, very carefully.
Email. Oh, yes. Dr. Shiva, welcome to the Next News Network.
Great to be here, Gary. Thanks for having me.
You posted something last week that I reported on your tweet, and this is where you said that the CV fear, the fear-mongering by the deep state will go down in history as one of the biggest frauds to manipulate economies, suppress dissent, and push mandated medicine.
I've been a student of politics since I was a kid because I grew up in an India which had a caste system. I was considered an untouchable, which is the lowest of the Indian caste system. The medical system we're moving towards is a top-down system, totally controlled by big pharma, big ag, and big vaccine manufacturers. Sustainable development goals, signed off by the United Nations and all their countries in 2015. It's called SDG 3, which was signed in 2015. They paint a utopia, Gary. It's this utopia of the elites. Subsequently, in an Immunization 2030 document as an addendum to that, they say the way we get to utopia, these 17 goals, is we must immunize everyone on the planet.
They must immunize everybody to force religious people, believers, to immunize. They need coronavirus. They need something to scare everybody into immunization, something that will kill on a massive scale. So you will immunize. That is why they keep saying, oh, well, when are you get the vaccines so we can get immunized and go back to work? These people. But God is more than them.
E.g., vaccinate everyone. And the reason this is important is, look, I created a company called Cytosolve, one of the other inventions I did out of my PhD work, to use the computer to understand chemical reactions in our body and on our cell, basically use a computer to model diseases so we could eliminate the need for animal testing. So Cytosolve is this amazing invention which allows me to do in a different way what my grandmother did intuitively, which is to understand the combinations and mixtures of chemicals to figure out medicines from food and natural products faster, cheaper, and safer. When I built that, I said, wow, pharma guys would want to use this because it takes them 15 years to build a drug, $5 billion. And I don't know if you know this, the pharma industry is in peril right now. They're not making any money, really any money from pharmaceutical drugs because
the big pharmaceutical companies in America are no longer making money. They are no longer making money because all the money now is coming from, wait for it, it is coming from China. China makes all the drugs now and all the drugs that people are taking all over the world. And the big hitters, Upjohn, Roche, Pfizer, the heavy, big companies, they're no longer making any money. So in order for them to make money, this is not from Nnamdi Kanu, it is from this Dr. Shiva, the inventor of email, and still a research fellow at MIT, which is the Massachusetts Institute, world-renowned Massachusetts Institute of Technology. He's still there. He wrote a paper telling them you don't need this, telling them that a human body contains 3 trillion viruses, 3 trillion, of which this very corona is one of them. This is what you need to do. And the man asked the doctor, what do we need to do? He said you need to boost your immune system. That's all. Vitamin C, D, and A. That's all. Make sure and now, when I was watching this, my mind now went back to blacks dying in America and why they are dying. And surprise, surprise, they are dying because of immunodeficiency. Immunodeficiency. Their immune systems are very, very weak. Why are they weak amongst black people? Because they don't eat proper food. They eat burger. They eat chips, burger, chips, they drink beer. The things that you and I take for granted, fresh vegetable from our mother's farm, on our grandmother's farm, the sun that hits your skin every day, then that was vitamin D. People take it for granted. Blacks don't do that. They don't have access to proper food. That is why they're dying in America. People are wondering, oh, but blacks are dying. It's not because your skin is black. No. You're dying because your immune system is not tuned up. Do you know when we are growing up in the village and your mother will leave you, you see children eating sand. And after a while, we get sick and we recover. It is when your immune system is learning all the germs, all the bacteria, all the pathogens that come into the body. It will fight it. You get sick for 2 or 3 days. Your parents will panic, but after a while, you become better. You develop immunity against it. Once you have compromised immunity, you are gone. People who are dying are those with compromised immunity, people with a medical problem. They die first. That's what they're doing now. That's why black. When I saw this, I couldn't believe it. I said, oh my God, is that why they're dying? Because this man said, this is Dr. Shiva said it. People, if you don't eat well, if you don't feed very well, now again, that leads me again to the third conclusion. No wonder they said if this thing comes into Africa, many people will die. Not because we cannot observe social distancing, but because there is hunger, poverty, and deprivation. So the immune system is already messed up anyway. Now you understand it? Now you know why you must and should listen to Radio Biafra always. We do things here that people cannot do anywhere else on this very planet. We tell you the truth that the zoo media can never report. Never. He's looking for following a minister up and down. That's what you heard journalists laughing. Hey, charity begins outside. Ha 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 ha. These are journalists that should be saying, if this country is unsalvageable, what do we need to do to salvage it? They couldn't ask that question. This is, ha 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 ha. Oh, minister. Oh, yes. You're right here. Those are the journalists you have. And if journalists cannot hold politicians to account, is it the woman selling moi moi or carrying plantain, a tray of plantain on the head? Is she the one who's going to salvage you? Now, do you understand why the damnable Zoological Republic is in a mess? Do you not understand it? I say, if they like, they can carry my news. If they like, they can not carry it. I don't give a damn. I have millions that listen to me anytime I preach. Millions go to my Facebook page. I don't care. Millions read my tweets, so I don't give a damn. But I'm telling them the truth. It is their job. They are there to make sure that the society functions in a particular way, and they're not doing it because of very parochial considerations and you know, negative narrow-mindedness. Very, very sad indeed. With all the uncertainty surrounding the role of China, after all we have heard, with all the uncertainty, I should say, surrounding the role that China played in this whole pandemic, and the wholesale rejection of the medical equipment, isn't it odd that what is left of the dying dictatorship in Asarok have decided to proceed with what I call a suicide mission? The Chinese coming is a suicide mission. When it happens, you say, oh, but Nnamdi Kanu warned us. We didn't take him seriously. And now it has happened. It is a suicide mission. Suicide mission. People will die if the Chinese were to set. And I'm warning them not to go to Biafra land. You are pursuing our people in China. Don't go to Biafra. I don't care how powerful a country or nation is. It's God that decides everything. I don't give a damn. They shouldn't go to Biafra land. Any Chinese seen outside in Biafra land doing their medication, thunder will fire that very person. Don't go to Biafra land. I'm just warning you. Keep them. Go to Alamajiri in the north and poison all of them there, because that's what they want. That is what they want. I am warning ordinary Alamajiri, the Babiala, those on the street, that what those the remnants of the regime, Garaba, Shehu, and a few others, what they are planning for you is not good. They have stolen all the money according to Amechi. They have sent it abroad. All of you are going to die. All of you will die. You think the world will leave what they're doing and start coming to help you? They'll come and pump more chemicals and you know what is in the vaccine they're carrying? That vaccine that they want the whole world to take, do you know what is inside it? You don't know. They want to use CNN, they want to use BBC to pressure us. We need vaccine. People are dying. Yes, we know people are dying. Yes, we know. You must have vaccine. You know what's in the vaccine is, they are introducing it so that mostly women from those places they consider to be overpopulated, they will sterilize them. That's what they did. The early settlers in America, they did something to the Indians, the native Indians in America. They gave them blankets with chicken pox and smallpox, and it killed most of them. Those that went to Australia did the same thing, gave it to the Aborigines in Australia, gave them whiskey, they are drinking kai kai, and they forgot themselves. So that's what they're planning to do. They don't like it that the world's population is as high as it is, so they want to reduce it. And this vaccine, once you won't know, you'll be there sending selfie and doing as you'll be sending selfie. You take vaccine, you in fact, you become barren. And then, you know, there's a saying where we come from now, and all the Pentecostal pastors, they'll be wringing their hands praying, oh my goodness, now we have so many barren women, they'll be coming for miracle. And there is money for them. So even the Pentecostal churches will also benefit from any vaccination that will make our women barren, because they will now go to church looking for a miracle, and the pastor will be very busy, enriching himself, of course. Isn't that what they do? Here we speak the truth. If you don't like it, very, very tough indeed. But here we speak the truth. They have brought in Chinese. We are saying don't bring them. They say, oh, they have arrived. They have COVID team from China. And I'm asking myself, are these people normal? The same Chinese that are chasing Africans all over the place. The same Chinese that are making life difficult for Biafrans. They are going hotel to hotel, house to house, driving away black people. And you're bringing them to supervise your own suicide and not for the rest of the poor masses. You know, when it comes to things like this, it is our responsibility to make sure that everybody else is also protected. So we are saying this, if you Biafran or no Biafran, what we are saying is that the Chinese have no business. That is some nonsense they did with Julius Berger. The Fulani, all they know is to import. They never rely on themselves for anything. That was why I said to people, when the Yorubas, the so-called sophisticated elite, obeying people who are elite, we are the elite. You think that Wayo is elitism? Wayo, doing Wayo, Ojoro is not elitism. They should have known that, you know that before he passed on, that Buhari has nothing to contribute. You know it very well. You were witnesses of his regime when he took over in 1983 or thereabout. All of you were there. You saw him. You knew he had nothing to offer. Nothing. But because it is going to be your turn, let us skim out the Igbos. Let's skim them out. Now you have seen what you know, sometimes, so people should have a little bit of conscience. I keep calling Yoruba all the time because they hold the key. They hold the key. If their press can come out and ask 2 or 3 questions, things would have been better for people. But they didn't. They are waiting for their turn. And look at where everybody is. Everybody is right now in one big quagmire. The medical aids and professionals provided by the Chinese government to assist Nigeria combat coronavirus COVID-19 will arrive on Wednesday, which is today. Before I came on air, they said they were going to the airport to go and pick them up. The China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation, the main contractor handling the rail modernization program of the government. See, our people, you want to grow. You want to grow your economy and to develop it. Your big roads and bridges are being built by Germans in Julius Berger. That is why when you say to the German government, things are going very bad in Nigeria, they tell you, we support Nigeria's integrity, we are writing to them about human rights abuses, and may God bless you. And that's it. And let me ask African people that keep importing foreigners all the time. Who are the ones building railways and bridges in China? Is it not Chinese engineers that went to university? Now, all those engineering, also all that our engineers are good for is they will struggle and become, they are fake professors they are in the zoo. They are fake professorships. You become a professor, so you can start rigging election for INEC. He's a don. Hey, that prof came back from university. He's a don. The only thing this don is looking for, rather than build bridges and roads, he claims he is a don of engineering. A don. They wear that ceremonial. That's so stupid. When they go to the election for INEC, they wear that their gown and that's their biggie. For ceremonial elsewhere in the world, but in the zoo, they wear that gown to tell you they're a professor. and they are carrying a rigged result on their hands. And Chinese professors and engineers are coming. Your own are there to rig election for INEC. Why, you ask yourself, why do they bring university vice chancellors, all these dons, professors, to rig election? Is to give it a veneer of respectability. Everybody's a thief. So let us bring somebody who so Punch will write the Don, PhD, Toronto, SSD, Alabama. See, the rubbish. Their brains are empty. They know nothing. They know nothing. These are the Don. All he aspires in life is, how do we compete with the Chinese? Oh, how do we build railways? How do we build this to? Hey, I wish Jega. I wish Jega can call me so I can be a returning officer for Oyo State. So I can make some money. I'll collect money from PDP. I'll collect from APC. I'll collect from whichever party, and I'll make money. And I can send Funke to America. That's all. That's their life. That's their lot. And these are the intellectuals behaving like idiots. I'm asking them, how many brains are these Chinese coming with? Is it not one man, one brain? You know, we Africans, we know how to debase and demean ourselves, and we keep blaming outsiders. We know how to tell the world we are useless. I'm asking everybody waiting for Chinese, that Chinese man you're waiting for, how many heads is sitting on top of their shoulders? Is it not one man, one head? Are you not a black man? Is it not one black man, one head? Is it anything in their brain that is not in your brain? Do you see how you mess up yourselves? Do you see how foolish you are before the world? Everything you import, toothpick you import, everything. The ordinary, very soon they start importing pure water. That is how they are. That is how foolish they are. And when you tell them that this thing you're doing is foolish, I say, hey, say Baba is doing something. Hey, they want to spoil our country. Do you see how foolish you are? You are the ones bringing damnation and curse upon curse on your heads. You're going to bring Chinese. Why don't you people have a little bit of pride? Why can't the Chinese come to you and say, come and help us? Because Fulani Alamajiri, they have no shame. There is no shame, Chineke for the Yocho. There is no shame. No honor and no dignity. There is no class. No class. Black people, no class. No class. Shameless. Shameless. That's what they're doing. Among the materials that be arriving in the country through a chartered card, even the journalists that are writing, there is no shame. The journalists who are writing, no shame. There is no shame. What happened to all those? I'm professor of pharmacy, University of Nigeria, Soka, professor of pharmacy, Futo. I'm at Uniport, professor of chemical engineering. Where are they? How about all those people that were that got admission to read microbiology and you were laughing at them? You don't know that coronavirus, that those who would detect or perhaps develop a cure are microbiologists? You see all those people you're laughing at before. Oh, why are you reading this course? He's not a doctor. I want my son to be a doctor or a lawyer or this or that. Have you seen it? I want to be. You see why we want Biafra? So we can teach the rest of them how a society should be organized. China was a third world country 45 years ago. China was a third world country. They were so hungry, they would eat anything. That's how they eat anything that moves. They were so hungry. China, there was a time that Nigeria was in a better situation economically than China. But in the same, I'll imagine they squandered everything. Britain will come and keep looting for us. Bring it to NatWest Bank. Bring it to Barclays. We are here. Don't worry. Leave those Igbos. They don't want to share. Leave them. And the Yoruba can join them. Let's cheat the Igbos. Let's cheat them. Let's cheat them. They're in Lagos. We've given them one swamp. They have built it. We take it from them. Everybody was busy cheating everybody else, disgracing themselves. Now it has come, you're going to China to bring in the experts. 200 million people, useless. What are those professors doing? They collect grants. They collect all this nonsensical rubbish they pay them. From UN, from who? What is the product of all the years of grant and research money you've received? Where is it? He have activation of a battle. He's the Don. Oh, Don is coming. Oh, Prof is coming. Useless set of people. Empty barrels that make the most noise. Ordinary chair. You see those Chinese, they'll come maybe about 2 feet straight. Very tiny and very short and very tiny. You see them all over the place. You are waiting for China. You're not ashamed of yourself. Who's going to receive them? Who's going to receive them? Jubril is busy balancing on a distance. I'm not saying anything about what he's doing with Taisha. It's not my business. You should ask them. What is he doing there? You have a president. What is he? You claim that thing, guys. What is he doing inside? What is his job? I'm asking. You won't ask. Yes, leave our president. He's our president. Because let us scheme out the Igbos come 2023. As a Yoruba man, that's what you're thinking. And the corona has come together with hunger. You know, corona and hunger, they don't know 2023. You will not be alive. You will not even be alive to see 2023. They don't know what is election. Corona doesn't understand PVC. Coronavirus doesn't know the meaning of his abaton. It has no idea. Corona is a very tiny microorganism that kills. He doesn't want to know if you have voted for PDP or APC. Corona doesn't want to know if you registered to vote or not. It has come. Mad people everywhere. We are Radio Biafra. The whole world is listening to us, of course. The time now is approximately 22 minutes to the top of the hour, regardless of where you are around the world. Medical experts arrive. This is the same Chinese that sent fake and dodgy kids to the UK. The same people you are inviting. A bunch of scammers and thieves calling others. Look at them, they steal and they burn. And you have the effrontery, you have the temerity to come and say, Biafra, you are scamming people. You steal money from Abuja, you burn down the building. I say, you are Biafra. You that is a thief inside that rock, stealing from the ministry. You're not a thief. It's the IPOB that is fighting. See how, no wonder they go to, I wish the Chinese come, let the Chinese come and fleet them off. Inject all of them, and they will die off with their children. Useless set of people. Useless. People that have refused to reason, refused to understand, refused to comprehend. Something so simple. Oh, Julius Baker is building a road. And I asked them, how about your brother that read civil engineering? So if the Germans were asking the Japanese to come and build roads and bridges for them, will you have Julius Baker to call? No, it doesn't make sense. You study engineering in the zoo, you end up driving Okada. You make some money with your Okada, you go and buy a technophone, so third hand. You come online on social media, you'll be fighting people who are trying to save you. Sometimes this corona should come and do its thing. It's God's will. Some people are so useless, they don't deserve to live. That is, white people, they sit down, they analyze how black people reason. They say to it, let us go and experiment with them. Why do you think the French are saying, let's go to Africa and experiment our vaccine on them? Because of the way you reason. Because of the way you reason. You don't reason properly. You're a graduate of engineering. You're a graduate of microbiology. That thing that you claim you studied, that your parents struggled, you studied at university, the problem has come. Come, Timothy, come and help this coronavirus. What did you study again? I have BSc in microbiology. Come and do something. No, I'm driving Okada or Keke Napep. And I'm trying to defend Nigeria. Nigeria should be one. And I'm asking you, are you normal? Are you sure you're okay in the brain? Are you sure your brain is functioning properly? I ask you. Do you see why IPOB is exceptional? Only us think the way we do. We have no pity, even none whatsoever. We call a spade a spade. You may not like it, but it is the truth. It is the truth. They sent antibody kits in the UK and they returned it back. Said it was contaminated. You're inviting them to come to Nigeria. Oh, we are the government, we've done it. We control the army, we control the police. If you talk, we shoot you. Now, there is not going to be any more centralized command. You saw what's going to happen in the zoo? That thing that this Zakari, whatever his name is, of CNN was talking about, is going to happen to you. Then you will understand it. And then I will tell you, I'll refer you back to my interview with Sahara Reporters. I told you that God will destroy Nigeria. You know, this is a country where a child is born, a baby, an innocent child is born. Somebody will put that child in a mortar and begin to pound it to death. That is how evil, some of you, evil beyond evil. You go and kill somebody, you cut off their skull, you cut off their private parts, you want to do something with it. What sort of planet can produce such, God have mercy on you people. God have mercy on you people. The Chinese, they also eat little babies, don't they? They boil it in a big pot and they eat. They eat anything, and once you move, they eat you. I'm sure they, let them not eat those people there. I can see them standing outside. Let them not eat them. They are pursuing them from hotels to tell you how even people sometimes complain about Europe. And I said to them that, do you know why Europe is more advanced than anywhere else in the world? Western Europe, to be precise, is because they are the least wicked out of all. If you look at humanity, they are the least wicked. Everybody is wicked, I know. But that they are the least wicked. That was why God gave them the grace. If you go to China now, you see the correct definition of wickedness. They don't want to know. Chase them out on the rain. If you like, you catch coronavirus, that's your business. And they claim they're a civilized country. And I'm saying to Chinese, you are not. You're not behaving like civilized people. You think you can conquer the world? You didn't make the world, you can't conquer it. No, but people try and they have been failing across the centuries. You also fail. And it's about time that Japan, Taiwan, and South Korea open their markets to our people rather than going to China. This nonsense is becoming too much. China, you've not even arrived, and look at how you're behaving. Talk less of when you become the #1 in the world. What will you do? You kill everything that is on this earth? What is wrong with you people? Unbelievable. That is the level of idiocy in Asarok. These remnants of the illiterate Fulani gang in Asarok, they want to kill everybody, kill all of us. With their parochial, self-serving view of Fulani hegemony, supported by the British, so they can be drinking oil for free. You see all this, we're elders, you know, we elder statesmen. Let me tell them something tonight. I want to remind all of you that call yourselves elder statesmen that have criminally remained silent in all these whole episodes as these gangsters, Fulani gangsters in Asarok, are infecting or plan to infect with the help of the Chinese, all of you in the society. Your ignorance will kill you and your silence will kill you. Coronavirus is more fatal for the elderly population than the younger people. So if you're keeping quiet, I'm an elder statesman, you're not speaking. When Corona comes, all our elderly population will be gone. There is no mercy. See what is happening in the USA. There is no mercy. And the 70% of people dying in the US are black people. So mind you. How can a leader claim he or she loves his people, but busy allowing these despicable people in Asarok to be treating everybody the way they're treating us? Even allowing a Chinese state that sanctions a racist culture to come in and deal with the same people. It's just like bringing an apartheid South Africa to go and treat Mandela in prison. Is that possible? Blacks are in Soweto, they are campaigning to be free. And they are sick. And you're sending Turin, what's his name, Eugene Terreblanc to go and treat him. Does that make any sense? Just like the BNP party in the UK or the French front, whatever I call it, the party of, what's his name again? What's his name? They have forgotten his name. Jean-Pierre, whatever, I forgot his name, of this French racist right-wing party. So why don't, or maybe Ku Klux Klan in America. Instead of to go to a black neighborhood and go and treat blacks who are sick. That's what you've done with the Chinese. They are chasing us, trying to kill us, abducting us and killing us in their land. Maybe out of that thing that worries, they're Igbo. Why the hell kill them now? They're Igbo. Yes, Yoruba in national goes, Ibo in China. Let him die there. I don't know the type of God that made you people. Our people should live there and come back home and try and develop some kind of understanding with Japan, Taiwan, and South Korea. Let us see what we can do from that angle, because things are not working. I want to let you understand what the Chinese are doing. I want some of you to understand what they are doing. Listen to what they are doing. I know some of them idiots in Asarok, they're listening. I want them to understand what the Chinese are doing. What they are doing to our people over there. Not just Biafrans. That the zoo. You see, it's Nigeria that caused it. Nigeria wrote to the Chinese and said, "Oh, can you hear what Nnamdi Kanu is saying? He's blaming you people for it. Their people are there. They're here. Go and chase them away." That's why they're doing that. But unfortunately for them, some Ugandans were also picked up as well as part of the whole nonsense. I want to play it for you so you will understand what is happening in that part of the world.
Difficulties we are going through right now, because we have been in a lockdown for at least 3 months now, and we have a lot of challenges we are going through at this time, and the most challenge is racism. We are facing racism in a way that we cannot access medical care in hospitals.
In China,
when we go to hospitals and we need any help, all they tell us is, "Please go away," after checking our passports and find.
This is the Ugandan lady from Uganda. But when the Nigerian government, the zoo government was reporting, they're so stupid. To a lot of people who are not Africans, everybody looks the same. And I'm also going to write to AU to tell them what Nigeria did. This is what, in order to spite IPOB, what the Nigerian government did was to go to China, go to Malaysia, go to South Africa, and be inciting the government to tell their local people to attack Biafrans. That was what they did in China. They cannot deny it. That's what they did. But unfortunately for them, when the Chinese started their work, they picked up everybody. If you're from Uganda, you're from Zimbabwe, you all look alike. That is the evil that Nigeria is. That is how evil. People don't understand how satanic Nigeria is. They are now beginning to see it. Let us hear her. She's from Uganda. She's in a cage. They caged her somewhere. She's in a cage. Let's hear what she has to say.
Finding out that we are blacks, actually finding out that we are from Africa. Another challenge we face is we cannot use the public means. Because when we try to use if you want to use a bus and you enter a bus, all the Chinese come out. They all come out and they leave you in the bus alone, like they're protesting. They can't travel with an African.
How can they not protest? You have not respected yourselves. You cannot run a decent government. People who say they are PhD holders and professors are rigging election for somebody that did not pass standard 6. What do you think that do we seriously think that white people and Asians that are stupid? They look at you. You go and you help those idiots to rig elections, and you want to come to our country to stay. When they see a black person, they leave. They walk away from you. They leave the bus for you. If you're not happy about it, you go back to your country. You go back to your country. Let's listen to her one more time.
Another challenge is we are not allowed to use, to go to the supermarkets to buy what we want. We cannot use the hotels. When we go there, after checking your passport, the only thing they tell you is go away, please go away. When you insist you want you want something, they call the police, and what the police tells you is please go away. Then another issue is another challenge is some of our friends have been thrown out of the houses they've been renting with no reason, not anything. The landlord just comes one morning and tells you, please make sure that today you leave my house. And then
this is the type of people that a Fulani government, Janjaweed, supported by Yoruba, are bringing to you to cure you of your problem. What type of God made these people? What type of God made these people? What type of God made these people? Do you see what Fulani are doing? Oh, God in heaven, have mercy. Have mercy upon your children. Have mercy upon your children. These Janjaweeds, unbelievable. I told them, but they won't listen. They will not listen, will they? I recall a few decades ago, as I was saying, China was as impoverished as Africa is today. Instead of we Africans to look at yourself in the mirror tonight, or morning or afternoon, depending on where you are, and say the truth that we have failed ourselves. We have failed. We have not only failed, we have failed our children and even the unborn generations. That is why we want Biafra, so we can begin to correct all these mistakes. It is not possible in Nigeria. You heard what Amechi said. Amechi said it is not within Nigeria. It is not possible. He's a minister. If you won't listen to Nnamdi Kanu, at least listen to a minister in Nigeria. Please listen to him. China was very poor. Look at where they are today. But in Africa, we have no shame. We Africans, we have no shame. We have no class. There's something called class. Self-respect class. We have none. We have none. And until we acquire some shame and some class, we are not going anywhere. All we do is to beg Europeans, give us loan, give us money, will help us. We have Ebola, we have Corona, we have poverty. You come, UN, UNICEF, World Health Organization. Hey! And you have universities. Do you actually know the meaning of university? The final bus stop where people with brain go to change the environment for the better. You go, you get a certificate, you keep it in the village, you buy a kind of pep, and you run all over the place. And instead of you to lead a revolution to make your lives better, you're saying no. You want to be in Nigeria, mad people. We have no shame. All we do is to beg, beg, and beg. We beg America, we beg Canada, we beg everybody. We borrow money from World Bank. We borrow from China. We borrow from Indonesia. We borrow from everybody. You invite Germans to build your roads and your bridges. Our engineering graduates are busy driving Okada. The strategic marriage of economics and politics, which is crucial for the takeoff and even sustenance of any economy, is absent from the thinking of a black man. You go there to the bank and they say, oh, go and get collateral. From where? Are you telling me that China became what it is today China was a communist country? But there is something called a state of political economy, where economic interests must align with the political objectives of any government to push the entire economy and social standards forward. Look at America. So how come now there is more or less a depression? How come there was a stimulus package? Is America a communist country? But how come they're paying salaries to people to stay at home because of this coronavirus? Political economy. The marriage of economics and politics. In Africa, you go to an idiot that went to a rundown university to say we need to infrastructure. Yeah, oh, go and bring collateral. Oh, I know the manager of Zenith Bank. Go and bring collateral. Collateral from where? You're supposed to be funding the ideas. If the idea is good enough, that is why you're a bank. You put it to the test. If it's good, you appoint from inside the bank a project manager to supervise it. Hey! This you black people. God forbid. God forbid. God forbid. I have never seen, such concentration of idiocy in the brains of, God forbid. We are useless, honestly speaking. Black people, we are the only race that actively connive with our enemies to kill ourselves. We are the only people. Things are no better, even in black South Africa, where they have arrested a man for, speaking out against the dangers of this Chinese supplied COVID-19 medical kit. They arrested him. Why would somebody speak and you arrest him in Africa? It's because people are backwards. People say also, and I leave them. You're entitled to say whatever you like. It's freedom of speech. Anything you like, you can say. But when I know I have a superior argument, if I meet you in a one-to-one debate, you can't survive. You can't last for 2 minutes. That's assuming you're educated. 2 minutes, you're gone. Somebody will speak their mind and you. What sort of savages are these? No wonder you go to China to go and bring in engineers. Mad people. Well, so Fulani, you're good at producing president, but not good at bringing engineers or doctors. You're not good at that, are you? All you do is oil. When oil was $50 per barrel, and now it's $20 per barrel, and we want to be $60 per barrel. That's all you know. Run tier economy. Here you sell one produce, and that's your life is finished. So it's our turn. Fulani should rule, and I'm asking them how many doctors have you produced to help us? Why don't you bring out a Fulani corona expert who can advise us on what to do? To advise people on what to do, you cannot do it. All you want is presidency. It's our turn. After driving cattle from China, maybe that's one them. After moving cattle from place to place, you want to come and start ruling people. Oh dear, zoo. China must try and do something. And as we are fighting coronavirus, they are bringing in their 5G, 6G, 7G, 8G. They call it a revolution. It's coming to Africa. But you did not give us a revolution in road building. No revolution, no. In agriculture. You never transferred your technology. None. Nothing. No revolution in house urban renewal and development. No revolution in drainage and in sewage. There is no revolution in healthcare. But there is a revolution in 5G. And people don't understand what they are trying to do. I have seen it before, and have you seen people with the barcode on their hand? They go to supermarket, they scan the barcode, and it's not in the movie, it's in real life. It's happening in Sweden. Have you seen it? We want 5G in Africa. Africa, where we are farming, still farming with the hoe and cutlass. You want 5G. So, or maybe 10G. We are moving with technology ahead of the time. Do you know what the risks are? And you will be shocked to know who the suppliers of the kit is for this 5G. It's Chinese. Chinese. Huawei. Chinese. They're the suppliers of the 5G. Inside, that is a revolution in Africa. You ask an idiot that, oh, we want 5G. To make our life better. To make which life better? People are ignorantly dumb in Africa, and we are here to open up your brain so you can reason properly like a human being should. That's what we're here for. If you don't like what we're doing, you go. We tell you the truth. You may not like it, but it is the truth. It is the truth. It is the truth. People that sold antibody, that sold fake kits to you. You're going and you're accepting all this nonsense from them. I want to shock you tonight. There's a new research out. After this is COVID update. Do you know what the shock is? Some of you may not understand, but it is true. They are focusing on this COVID-19 pandemic, saying it attacks the lungs, isn't it? And, they're talking about getting enough ventilators to keep people alive. But I want to tell you something tonight, according to a research they have done on all the dead bodies in the USA, and also the data that came in from China and from Italy. In addition to lung damage, many COVID-19 patients are also developing heart problems and dying of cardiac arrest. This virus also attacks the heart as well, not just the lungs, but also the heart. So that is why I think we must try and do something to kill it off. Allowing it to enter into the body will present a whole host of problems for us. Doctors are now changing the way they think about patients, particularly in the early stages of the illness. This very COVID, this very weapons grade, I will call it, pathogen, not only attacks and damages the lungs, it also attacks and damages the heart as well. Very, very critical we understand this. Very, very critical we understand this. Very, very important, please. Very, very important. Even Dr. Henry Kissinger is saying that hey, the world is coming to an end. But let me just tell you something about 5G that people don't know. I'll play it for you. We do painstaking research here. So we give you the very finest information.
5G
Listen.
fifth generation technology promises faster download speeds and conveniences that most of us have never dreamed of, but will also be blanketed with a new type of radiation called millimeter waves.
Millimeter wave.
Health experts are warning about the rising risks with a 5G rollout.
It's not been made clear to the public that 5G won't just be another number.
This man speaking is called Frank Clegg. Frank Clegg is the Microsoft chief in Canada, not Bill Gates. So this one is in Canada. And when this man, who is a big CEO, a heavyweight scientist, is talking, and he sees somebody on Facebook from one remote village where there is no light, there is no access road, possibly with a few Fulani terrorists in the bush, in the forest, and a few headsmen up the road. He's arguing he wants 5G. Let us listen to people who are civilized.
And lighter on your cell phone. It requires an entirely new infrastructure of thousands of small cellular antennas to be erected throughout cities where it's going to be installed.
What would 5G infrastructure look like? Small cell, third hydro pole. Scientists from 42 countries are now warning their governments about the emerging health problems.
Scientists from how many countries? From how many countries, I'm asking. Scientists from how many countries?
Associated with wireless radiation. And Canadian doctors and scientists have added their voices.
The most prevalent symptoms include headache, fatigue, decreased ability to concentrate, tinnitus, irritability, and insomnia. Impacts on the heart and the nervous system are also of great concern.
Doctor,
are you listening? These are scientists, not Umgokoko on Facebook. These are scientists telling you the dangers of 5G. Until the technology is understood and certified, it will not be in Biafra land. Until the technology... We want to understand what this millimeter wave transmission does to the body. We want to know. It is our job here to keep our people safe. It is the job, the first duty of IPOB is to keep Biafrans safe, and that's exactly what we are doing. That is what we are doing. We're not going to have anything like 5G without understanding what goes behind it. Brussels, Geneva, they have banned it. They don't want it. Talk less of somebody from what is it? Is it Funtua or is it Uguzo? Say you want 5G. Ndara. The sense is coming to Africa. It cannot come. We don't need it. We don't want it. We don't, and not at a time when the looters are in a jamboree. Loot and burn. That's the new slogan now. You loot and you burn. Once you finish it, if you cannot find any snake to blame, there is no monkey around to blame the monkey. There is no parrot to blame. You burn the place down. Loot and burn. That's what Fulanis are. We are here to fight corruption. We are fighting corruption. We fight corruption. Look at the idiots fighting corruption. The Treasury House is on fire. Why is it on fire? Because of two things. I came here on air and I asked them, tell the Asorok, you tell the world where the money for Asorok Clinic is. They couldn't produce it. People said, oh, you've been collecting all this billion from where is it? You know Fulani now. So they say in their useless language. They went and they burnt the place. Now, because, do you know why they burnt it down? You see, what goes around comes around. You say, Nigerians, I don't know when you will learn. You need to, as I said, they should form IPOB where they are. They are not Biafrans, but we can allow them to at least benefit from a very superior understanding of Nigeria and how it works. Let me tell you why. Do you know why they're burning the whole place down? Because when you go to court, when somebody forges a certificate and you go to court, and you see his lordship will sit down with their horse hair, lordship. Please, God George, this man here doesn't have a certificate. He will tell you, oh, but I have affidavit from the court. My termites ate it as the replant turner, the native doctor, Tanko, said. And once you say it, they will say, okay, this court is satisfied that this certificate may not have existed, but he has an affidavit, which means that it's okay. Once you keep allowing that, you know Fulani now. They say, okay, so all I need to do now is I destroy all the evidence and I go to court and I get an affidavit and I will say that fire destroyed all the evidence and because of that, you know, you can't arrest us, you can't probe us, and that'll be the end of it, isn't it? Zoo. They don't understand. What goes around comes around. Everything about this Fulani Al-Majri government is about corruption. They have corrupted Facebook. Facebook is as corrupt as they have become. The Yorubas fighting, or say, working for Facebook that we are fighting every day is as even more dangerously corrupt than the zoo. I make a post and they remove it. I made a post that they took it without even warning me. They took it off. People come to listen to what we are preaching, they take them off. And these are the same people, when they have headache, they want Chinese doctors to come. When people become racist towards us, we complain. Look at how Yoruba people inside Facebook are taking off people, deleting posts for no reason. And I keep asking, why are you so wicked? What is it about? Is it our black skin that, why are we so wicked? I keep asking. Black people from us, why are you wicked even to yourselves? Were you there when Facebook was created? You are not there. But somebody from Lai Mohammed gave you money. They invited Zuckerberg. He came. They gave him money, did a deal. You know, we'll supply your office. We need your office. They even paid for Facebook office in the zoo so they can control what we're doing. The same way they bought over a satellite company in Israel, Satlink, because of Radio Biafra. That's exactly. People, do you know that before? Are you aware of that before? Do you know Nigeria wasted money, $28 million, to buy over a tiny Israeli satellite operating company in Israel because of the contract I signed with them? Are you aware of that? Some of you don't know, do you? No, you don't. They called me and said, I should stop criticizing Nigeria now. If you want to continue with us, stop criticizing Nigeria. Tone down what you're saying. And I told them to simply go to hell. Are we not on satellite today? Yoruba? Oh dear. Okay. You will see what will happen. All of you in Facebook, removing people who are listening to a broadcast. All of you in Facebook, deleting posts that people make online. Because if you come outside to say anything in the zoo, they will kill you. How do you want us or people to hold the government to account? I'm asking Facebook. How? How? I'm asking you. What, you know, and if you, where they are now, they'll be laughing like monkeys. But when they go somewhere and they crack their brain because they're black, they start shouting, oh, I'm African, I'm proud. Don't do this to me. But when you are helping to bring yourself down, you don't know. That's why they want to experiment with us. I have warned repeatedly. Everything about this Janjaweed government is reeks of corruption, endemic corruption. And I don't know, I don't want to use big words, you know what I mean? But it is institutional lawlessness. So that's what is coming, isn't it? I told you that the zoo was lawless. When the zoo is divided and the Fulani core is on their own, the natural incompetence of the Fulanis will show. They will die of hunger. They don't have scientists. I keep asking every day, show me one Fulani scientist. Nobody can show me. Show me one Fulani writer or an artist. Nobody can show me. It's only as a Babiala with plates to become beg for food. I don't hate anybody, but I tell you the truth. Anything you do wrong, I will tell you. Blood-sucking demons they are. And for once, they asked them to account for the 13 billion in 5 years. They can't answer for it. I keep asking that question. What happened to the money that should have equipped that hospital so Abba Kyari and Yemi Oshibajo will be there? Nobody's telling us. They say, oh, leave Nigeria for us. Why are you asking? You're Biafrans. Because the money came from my land. Came from my land. Despite, in fact, I commend Daily Trust for writing this. Despite the 13.5, should I say 13.59 billion budgetary provision for the State House Clinic in the last 5 years, under President Muhammadu Buhari, the facility is moribund. Where is the money? And people are talking rubbish. Where is the money? They have eaten it, haven't they? They have eaten the money, haven't they? Where is the money in Asorok? I'm asking them. They have eaten the money. Oh, pray for Abakari. Pray for quick recovery. And I'm saying, what type of demonic animals are these? This man consumed 13.6 billion. He's saying, pray for him. And tomorrow, say, oh, God, help us. You think God is as stupid as you are? God is not stupid, though. That's what is happening. Where is the money? They have eaten it. They have burnt down everywhere. Fulani regime is a criminal regime, is a rogue regime, is a regime for criminals. That's why they went abroad and imported a fool. Can you tell us about who Buhari is? I thank my teachers of my generation. Mad, insane people everywhere. What happened to the money? In Asorok, where is it? And you have people who claim they are Nigerians. And I'm asking them, who is in charge of your country? Who is in charge in Abuja? Bring the person out. They cannot bring the person out because there is nobody there. Nobody. You see how we expose them? There is no one there. Nobody is there. There is nobody. The same people that squandered Asorok Clinic funds are the same bunch of criminals inviting the Chinese. Can you imagine? They said, oh, that the Chinese will be quarantined for 14 days. As if that is where the killer injections are. It's in the consignment that Epi's brought in. Buffoons everywhere. Buffoons everywhere. Tomorrow, you see them writing in the paper, in Vanguard, or as an elite, that the elites are now writing. I'm a PhD holder from Toronto University. Yet, ordinary common sense you don't have. Ordinary common sense they do not possess. They have absolutely nothing upstairs. I don't blame them. I blame the idiots that claim that Biafra African nationalist movements. For me, actually, that was where the stupidity of black people started from. The moment the colonial masters left, instead of them to go back and do the same meeting that they did in Berlin, do their own African version of the Berlin conference and say, now that our tormentors are gone, let us go back to as we were and then negotiate our union together. They said, no, we are nationalists. Even people that were not born Nigerians are now claiming that they are Nigerians. And you ask them, but what were you before you became a Nigerian? They cannot answer you. And they say that whites don't respect us. There is racism. Why would they respect you if you claim that colonialism is bad? You claim that colonialism is bad. Is dehumanizing. It debased you. Another. Why are you keeping the boundaries that was drawn by colonialists? Do you see how stupid some people are? You claim that something is bad and you're keeping it. We know today that coronavirus is bad. And then maybe you culture it and put it in a vase on your table. And ask you, oh, but why is it there? You say, oh, no, I like it. I'm now a citizen of Colonia as a country. Azikiwe, Awolowo, all of them, they say, all those idiots across Africa, they said, oh, colonialism is bad. What the Europeans is. But as soon as the Europeans left, they replaced them. That's what's happening today. That is why Africa cannot grow. And that's why we are seeking to bring the whole nonsense to an end. To an end. To an end. I don't blame them. All of you have seen how Chad defeated Boko Haram. You have seen it. In their territory. Even coming to Nigeria to go and fight inside Nigeria. You saw it with your two naked eyes. Where was Buratai? He's in his snake farm. He's farming snake for his Chinese friends. He's a general. A civilian killing general. If you see where they are praising him, he's a general. The general has spoken. Where is he today? People who are serious. Now, Chad is the new giant of Africa. In fact, from tomorrow, everybody should promote Chad as the new giant of Africa. Look at a giant. Cannot kill ordinary insurgency without asking for help. As I told you a few days ago, they can't do anything without foreign help. Has Chad not come now to help them with Boko Haram? As I told you that they would. They dare not come now to help them. They went to come out and they ended up selling their boots to feed. They were selling their shoes to eat. Ordinary insurgency they cannot defeat. Only to go to worry and shoot people. You go to my you shoot civilians. The military are all over the place. Ordinary insurgency you cannot. Chad is now the new giant of Africa. I remember when they asked Buhari when he was alive. He was saying, can you imagine Nigeria asking Chad and Cameroon to help? Today, what is going on today? Have you not seen it? No wonder America said we're no longer giving you any loot from Abacha. You people are useless. No loot from Abacha. They're keeping it for themselves. They steal. And you have the temerity to put Oju's Okal in prison. You have the temerity to put Olisametu in prison. You have the temerity to lock up all Christian politicians in the north in prison, while you have committed worse atrocities than those people. You loot and you burn. You are not only a looter, you're also an arsonist as well. And idiots are clapping for the Fulani Janjaweed. A bunch of reprobates. Mad, insane people all over the place. And you're telling me you believe in Nigeria, your foot. Idiots who cannot reason very well. Idiots who cannot reason very well. No wonder they are racist towards us all over the world. We are the cause of it. Because we have failed to reason. We have failed to reason. They said they have shared money to poor people. They have distributed 6 billion. Okay, where is the list of the people that you distributed the money to? Which is what any office of statistics should be asking. Or journalists should be asking. Okay, give us the list. Where is the list of all the people you claim you gave the money to? Where is the list now? Show us the list. They don't have it. But you've sent 6 billion. They asked them again, they went and burnt everything. Everything. They set on fire the building that houses all the government financial records, the treasury. They burnt it down. So now they will go and bribe the judges. If you tell them to go, judges say, oh, it's burnt at the fire now. There's an affidavit. That is the place some of you hopelessly call a country. Hopelessly call a country. And again, as they're bringing in Chinese, they're borrowing 6.9 billion to offset virus impact. Who is signed? Go and see who signed that. You will see it is not Buhari, not the signature. Yeah, it's not. They forge and they send off. And they're bringing money. And the Fulani is swallowing it. Telling you, we're fighting corruption. We are fighting. And some useless Yoruba journalists will be supporting them. Useless. Nigeria is in a mess. And I'm saying this openly to the hearing of the world. Because of Yoruba complicity and duplicity. Yoruba complicity and duplicity is the reason why Nigeria is in a mess. I like men who are men. You stand on something and you stand very strong. You don't move from it. As a point of honor, as a point of principle, you say, here I stand. Not today you're hot, next tomorrow you're cold, the other one you're warm. I asked you to look for your son, Yemi Osinbajo. Where is he? You can't ask for him. Can't ask. I was in prison and the whole of Biafra came to a standstill. To a standstill. To a standstill. That is why I will die for Biafra. Came to a standstill. Because you're holding their leader. He must come out. And they did it. Until the zoo capitulated. The same way we remain very strong till this day. That's why Asorok has fallen. If you don't know. You compare yourselves to us. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? Keep supporting evil. Evil will consume you. I give credit to the dead Buhari. If he were to be alive, he would have gone. Remember when Buhari was alive, he dressed in a military fatigue. He was looking like a skeleton, but at least was alive. He went to the war front, or at least close by, with military fatigue. Are you telling me the same Buhari that dressed up as an army, whatever, and went to the war front, the same Buhari that sent the chiefs of the various defense departments to Medugri to go and fight Boko Haram will be sitting down in Aso Rock with toothpick in his mouth taking pictures? I want to actually ask Nigerians, those who are so stupid, I want to ask you, are you sure some of you knew the old Buhari before here? Are you sure you actually know him? You can say whatever you like about him, but if Buhari were to be alive, he will be in Borno right now. You have that small boy there crossing, watching Champions League and with toothpick. I don't know if it's in Kwabi he ate. I don't know what. I think they said they gave him an Igbo gear. I don't know. I don't know. Buhari went to the war front. You can see it. In fact, Amaka should post the picture, please, so the world can see it. In fairness to him, he tried. He tried. He asked the service chiefs to relocate to Maiduguri. Some of you know that. You saw it, but you've forgotten. You're a journalist, you see it and you forget. Hey, no, I don't know. But you knew that the old Buhari would be in Maiduguri by now. You're telling me that the old Buhari was camera shy? His English wasn't the best in the world, but at least he was brave enough to come out and address the media. This one is there, crossing his legs, having fun. They went to Iboland and brought a girl for, maybe the girl was working in a nightclub in Abuja. They gave the girl to him. Having fun. Having fun. And you people are there. Oh, God, these people, unbelievable. That is, this way, the way I'm speaking now, I spoke this way about Biafran people for 4 years. What I said to Igbo people is worse than what you have heard. And they don't know that that was when we knew that now they are serious for their freedom. Because they know that what we're saying is correct. And that is why they are changed. That is why we are different. The government of Chad released Nigerian soldiers who are held, who are war prisoners to Boko Haram. Ordinary Chad that doesn't have the budget of Imo State. Ordinary Chad went and released Nigerian soldiers that were being held as prisoners by Boko Haram. Giant of Africa. Shamelessly tomorrow, you watch it tomorrow, they will write shamelessly. They are the giant of Africa. People without shame, honor, or class. None whatsoever. You ask them, oh, we now have a new strategy to defeat Boko Haram. But you did not have this strategy last week. It's not that you have it, yes? It's now that you have this very strategy. Not before. You have a new strategy. How can you have a new strategy without head of state? Femi Adesina with Yoruba media in their usual way of propagating lies is connecting. They always connect Buhari to everything they write. The use of the word Buhari is now federal government or presidency. Nigeria, unbelievable. They say oh dear me, oh dear me. And Chad said they have more or less, in fact, as they were going and they were defeating Boko Haram, they were asking, now they're in Nigerian territory. They were asking Nigerian soldiers to come. They were nowhere to be found. How can you ask Boko Haram to fight Boko Haram? Is that possible? It is not possible. It is not possible. It is not possible. Who were complaining before. The same people who were complaining before. Very, very sad indeed. That is why they go, a Home Minister of State addressing people in Hausa language. A Minister of State. And our sister very cleverly asked him a question in Igbo as well, which he couldn't answer. Very, very sad. And all they do, every blessing, you know the reason why they have not released any new pictures now for Buhari or new fake video as they normally do, is because the latest upgrade, the latest software has not come in from China yet. You know, there's a ban everywhere. And China is more interested in making money from coronavirus than sending new software to enhance or alter somebody's image. That is why things are not going very well. That is why no press conference, no more. Oh God, Zoo is very, very. I feel sorry for them. Their makeup artist has gone now because of Corona. Their government evacuated them last week. So no good makeup artist. And they cannot get one from Nollywood because the whole thing will leak. And the Nollywood people, they know, once you go to Aso Rock, you finish, they will hold you hostage there. You finish doing the makeup and they will kill you at the end of the whole process. So there's no need going. If they call you to Aso Rock, do not go. They will hold you hostage. After using you, they will kill you. That's what they're going to do. And only Abba Kyari has the connections, even into the office. Ask them now to go, okay, let me now tell you something that will shock you. Ask them to open Buhari's office in Aso Rock. They cannot open it. Because that office only opens with the thumbprint of Abba Kyari. Ask them to open it and take video inside it. They cannot open it. They can't. That time they told it was cockroach and the mosquito that chased away Buhari. Because they demolished it. Buhari was dead. They couldn't get his fingerprints to open the... If they were clever, they should have cut off his thumb, his right thumb, and use it. But unfortunately for them, the one they are using is the full palm scanner. And Aisha will not allow them to cut off the hand of the husband to keep Fulani in power. She said no. That's why they came back, they demolished all the office. And instead of the Nigerian media to ask questions, they were just, yes, now, it's possible. Mosquito can make you cannot go to your office anymore. Media in Nigeria. Hey! Tofiakwa. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. What I am telling you tonight, all of you saw the real Buhari last January 17, 2017. Last time you saw him. I've given you a very simple assignment. We have something greater coming. Go and bring the old clip of Buhari. Bring the one they claim he did during election. Install a voice recognition software in your laptop and ask that software, are these two voices the same? The software will tell you, no, they're not. It's just a simple assignment. I want to send Shiva. The real warhead hasn't come out. To let them know. Let them bring him out. Bring him out. We are waiting. Bring out that thing you're hiding in that rubbish you have there. With that makeup. Bring him out now. Let's see. Or with the few face masks they left for you. Bring him out. Bring him out. Then you will know that the world knows already. They're waiting for coronavirus to blow over. Then you will see what will happen to the zoo. You people are finished. The software will not come. Everybody saw very clearly. Every world leader was sending their messages to Boris Johnson. Everybody, you saw the governments around the world. What happened in your own case? There was nothing. Is a sign. President Buhari praised that Prime Minister Johnson will soon be well enough. You know they're so stupid. So listen very carefully. They claim, listen very carefully. They claim they are sending a message. President Buhari sends message of solidarity to PM Johnson, UK. Listen carefully. At the last paragraph, he says, President Buhari prays that Prime Minister Johnson will soon be well enough to resume his great leadership of his country at this most trying time in global history. President Buhari prays, not that I pray. And they signed it, Garibashir. And the president is in Aso Rock. Every man, woman, or child around the world, everybody knows where Boris Johnson is. Boris Johnson is at St. Thomas's Hospital, which is just 1,000 meters from his office in Downing Street, just across Westminster Bridge. There are regular TV updates about his health because he did not put himself in power. The people put him there. He is there's something called being accountable to the people. Being accountable to the people. What is wrong with that in Nigerian understanding of what democracy is all about. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yemi Osinbajo is missing. Nobody knows. A whole Prime Minister of Britain, a child. If not, I'll call Nabi to come and tell you where Johnson is. But you don't, as an intellectual in Nigeria. If I ask you now, where is Yemi Osinbajo, what will you say? Where is Buhari? What would you say? You don't know. But you're an intellectual on Facebook. Now I call you intellectual. I'm a child. But I'm not coming back. Let him tell the world where Boris Johnson is. Let me bring out my little boy to tell him where Boris Johnson is. But a university professor in Nigeria cannot tell you where Buhari is, cannot tell you where Osinbajo is, cannot tell you where Bakari is. And you're telling me you people are normal? You are not normal. You are not normal. Not normal at all, at all, at all. I mean, the whole thing is absolutely bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. And it is a shame, a very big shame, that people cannot rise up and say what nonsense is going on in Asorok and bring their own misery to an end. They are there supporting evil, supporting rubbish on a daily basis, supporting nonsense on a daily basis. It is not today. They started burning down places. Some of you don't. Some of you are very young. Those of us who are very old will understand. Do you people remember one man under another Fulani man called Shehu Shagari? His name is Ibrahim Taher. Do you remember him? He was the communications minister. Do you remember what he did? He burnt down Nitel in Lagos. You know that big Nitel building in Marina? He ate all the money. He set it on fire. There was another criminal Fulani man. His name is Omar Odiko. He ate every morning. Every morning. He was the Minister of Aviation and Transport then. Hey, Omar Odiko, he stole 5 billion pounds when money had value. In today's money, it should be roughly about 22 billion pounds. One Fulani man, Omar Odiko. One. And when he finished eating the money, he set his office at Aviation and set it on fire. It's not today they started eating and burning. It's been in their blood. That's what they do. They are thieves. They are criminals. Aisha Buhari was implicated in Halliburton bribery scandal. Aisha Buhari cannot travel to the United States of America. The media, they know it. The Yoruba press, they know it. But because Tinubu is in 2023, they cannot write the truth. They cannot publish the truth. There are people who are stranded in China as a result of the high-handedness, the very primitive Nigerian government. And they are bringing the Chinese into the country because there's no leader. Anybody can do whatever they like. They are so confused. So by bringing the Chinese now, they hope to keep you all diverted. Instead of asking who is in Asorok, you'll be asking Chinese, you're here. When are you going? What are the Chinese doing? Just to occupy you, and you fall for it. All of you will fall for it, I'm sure. But not IPOB. Not IPOB. At all, at all, at all. I am calling on all billionaires in Biafra land. All of them, all the billionaires in Biafra land. We must make sure that we provide whatever we can to our people to support them at this very period. If you don't do anything between now and Sunday, when next I'll be on air, I will mention your names one after the other. Go and set up something where you come from. We know how much you stole from the government. We know how much you have and where you banked them. If you have not set up anything from now till Sunday, as IPOB is doing and will continue to do, I will come on air. I will tell the world how much you stole and where you banked them. Don't say I did not warn you. I need you to go to your villages and begin to provide for the people. All of you who are ex-governors, all of you who are ex-ministers that stole quite a bit, we know you. Stealing is not confined to the Fulanis alone. There are people from Biafra land, from the east, that stole money as well. If you do not Don't say I didn't warn you. I'm not asking you to do anything with your money to... No. Go to your village and set up a soup kitchen. Make sure that the people at least get 1 square meal a day. That's what I'm asking. If you don't, okay, you know, anything I say I'm going to do, I do. So you must try and do something about it. You claim you are billionaires and all the rest of it. I want you to go and demonstrate that you have the necessary compassion, care, and understanding for our people. And on that very note, we bring our proceedings to an end this evening. But before I do so, I must mention the immense work that IPOB in Benue State are doing. Some of you don't know how IPOB in Benue State do. IPOB in Benue State are very strong, and I commend the great work that they are doing. I have not seen what IPOB in Kogi is doing yet, but I do know that Benue is doing very strongly, and Nsoka is a bit wobbly. We'll try and fix Nsoka between now and Saturday. But I must commend Benue people for what they're doing. And in case you ask me why are you taking Benue, let me make this very clear to you. When the Fulani army came from Zaria to try and conquer our land, the Biafra land, the same way they conquered the Yorubas and took Ilorin from them, they came to Biafra land at the plains of Idoma, and there they died. That army, at night, God in heaven gave them a swarm of sesefly. The sesefly descended on them and killed them, gave them sleeping sickness and killed all of them. The remnants of the army returned defeated to Zaria. Go and consult your history books. That was the day and the place that God in heaven demarcated Biafra land from the rest of the north. But some of you don't know history, so I don't blame you. I thank all of you for listening this very evening. An evening that we know that Aso Rock is empty and devoid of any elected presence. There is nobody you elected who is there. They have all gone to places that I couldn't possibly begin to speculate. And we are happy for it. Because tonight there is no more zoo. Zoo has crumbled. The world is just waiting for coronavirus to be over. And then they will bury it completely and totally. I thank all of you for listening to us this very evening. And as always, Biafra is our religion. I have no other. I'm not a Christian. I'm not a Muslim. No. Biafra is my religion. Those are the ties, of course, with the ancient Hebraic ways of our ancestors. And here on Radio Biafra is where we worship, because Chukwokikabiam Elohim, Onye Purumi Henine, is our God. The same God that have now destroyed the zoo, the same God that have left a vacuum, a big hole inside Aso Rock, the same God that will make sure that Biafra will rise to take its rightful place in the community of nations to his eternal glory. From me, from here, good evening.